Hi, good morning. It is another day of our lives, so we need to thanks Dave for the lives or for the strength that He gave us in every day of our lives. Okay, so in the midst of crisis, we start living, right? So today we will continue our discussion regarding child and adolescent development. And last time we talked about the exceptionalities in the classroom and the referral process. And right now, we are going to discuss the chapter 9 of this book entitled The Microcosm of Children and Adolescent. Okay, so this is the second to the last chapter of this book. So we are still one lesson to learn about this book, Child and Adolescent Development. Okay, so let's start. Okay, the microcosm of child and adolescent. All right, the first thing that we need to know is the human rights. Human rights are commonly understood as rights which are inherent to the human being. Okay, the concept of human rights acknowledge that every single human being is entitled to enjoy his or her human rights without distinction to race. Okay, so every person has a rights. Okay, and we need to exercise that rights. All right, the rights stated in the Universal Declaration of human rights can be grouped as civil and political. Okay, this is the right that protect individual freedom and participation in the decision-making process of the community and those that relate to freedom of thought, opinion, and religion. So individual freedom, okay? And participation in the decision-making process. Okay, and while economic and social and cultural, this is the right that achieve a minimum standard of living and ensure a share in the country's economic welfare, employment, and education, based on Article 22 to 27. Okay, all right. And what is children's right? Okay, since we talk about children and adolescent development, so let's define children's right. Okay, children's right are a set of entitlements for all children enshrined in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, or UNCRC. Okay, all right. Brief history of the adoption of human rights. The convention is legally binding and oblige governments to respect, protect, and fulfill children's rights through their legislation and policies. Okay, the right enshrined in the UNCRC fall into four categories. Okay, right to survive. Okay, right to be safe, right to belong, and right to develop. Okay, there are four general principles that underpin all rights. Okay, first one, non-discrimination means that all children have the same right to develop their potential in all situations and at all times. Okay, non-discrimination. The best interest of the child must be a primary consideration. Okay, in all actions and decisions concerning a child and must be used to resolve conflict between different rights. Okay, and number three, the right to survival and development underscores the vital importance of ensuring access to basic services and to equality of opportunity for children to achieve their full development. And number four, the views of the child means that the voice of the child must be heard. okay, and respected in all matters concerning his or her rights. Okay, that are the four general principles. Okay, all right, goals in teaching children with their rights. So, what would be the importance or what would be the purpose why we need to teach our children their rights? Okay, the goals of teaching children about their rights are stipulated in the Article 29 of the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child. The best way to empower the child and protect them is to teach them about their rights. Okay, the first one goal, okay, develop intercultural understanding. Okay, teaching students about the world and other cultures increases social and cultural awareness. Of course, break down stereotypes, enable a broken view of the world, and strengthen child identity. Okay, once we teach the rights, okay, the child will strengthen their identity. Okay, right? Build social skills. Education about social justice, human rights allows students to understand the importance of treating people, okay, equitably and the responsibilities we all have to protect the rights of other. Okay, so once they know every person has the right, okay, they will build a social skills since once they know that every person has a right, so they will exercise that, and then they will treat everyone as a person. Okay, develop ethical understanding. Technologies bring local and distant community into classroom, exposing a student to knowledge and global concern never before. Okay, develop ethical understanding. And number four, motivate students learning. Connecting classroom knowledge with situation outside the classroom creates personal meaning and significance. Okay, and number five, creates a safer school. Teaching children about their rights can reduce exclusion and bullying, improve teaching-pupil relationship, and make more mature, responsible students. Okay. All right. Children realize their rights. By recognizing their own rights, they become aware of how they should be treated by others and how to stand up for these rights. Okay. All right, and number seven, empower students to become active citizens. Teaching children about universality of children's right and the extent to which these are denied builds a generation that is socially responsible. It is critical then to educate children as a future leader of our society. All right, so the third part of this chapter is Filipino children's right. Okay, as one of the countries that signify and ratify the UNCRC, the Philippine government, in compliance to the convention, has promulgated and implemented laws and policies for the protection of the rights of Filipino children. Okay, these are the example of rights of Filipino children: to be born, to have a name and nationality, okay? To be free, to have a family who will take care of him or her, to have a good education, okay? To develop your potential, to have enough food, shelter, healthy and active body, to begin the opportunity for play and leisure, to be given protection against abuse, danger, and violence brought about by war and conflict, to live in a peaceful community, to be defended and assisted by the government, to be able to express your own views. All right, and then here are the laws and issuances on Filipino children. First, Executive Order 209, that is Family Code of the Philippines. Republic Act 386, the new Civil Code or Presidential Decree 603, the Child and Youth Welfare Code of 1974. Republic Act 9255, an act allowing illegitimate children to use the surname of their father. Republic Act 10627, Anti-Bullying Act of 2003. RA 6655, Pre-Public Secondary School of 1988. RA 6972, Barangay Daycare Law. RA 7277, Magna Carta for Disabled Person. RA 7323, Summer and Christmas Employment for Poor Students. RA 7610, Special Protection of Children Against Child Abuse, Exploitation and Discrimination Act. RA 7624, an act of integrating drug intervention and control in school curricula. Okay. RA 8044, the Youth in Nation Building Act of 1995. RA 8353, the Anti-Rape Law of 1997. RA 8980, Early Childhood Care and Development Law. RA 9208, Anti-Trafficking in Person Act of 2003. RA 9262, Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. RA 9344, Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006. Okay. Executive Order 56, authorizing the Ministry of Social Service and Development to take protective custody of child prostitute and sexually exploited children and for other purposes. Proclamation number 731, declaring the second week of February of every year as a National Awareness Week for the prevention of child sexual abuse and exploitation. And proclamation number 267, declaring October as the National Children's Month. Okay, so there's a lot of laws that protect children's rights. Okay, so we need to know all of this for us to be able to exercise and for us to be protected from abuse and other circumstances, because there's a right that protected us from those abuses. Okay. All right, and then there's our government and non-government agencies institution. The first one is Council for the Welfare of Children. It is mandated to coordinate the implementation and enforcement of all laws, formulate, monitor, and evaluate policies, program, and measure for children. Okay, and of course the DSWD, or Department of Social Welfare and Development. It is mandated to develop, implement, and coordinate social protection and poverty reduction solution for and with the poor, vulnerable, and disadvantaged. Okay, and Department of Education, of course, implement programs and policies which protect and advance the welfare and rights of children. And next one is Bahay Tuluyan. It is a non-government organization that provides a variety of programs and services aimed at preventing and responding to abuse and exploitation of children in the Philippines. It seeks to promote, fulfill, respect, and protect children's rights. Okay, and Bantay Bata. It is a child welfare launched in 1997 to protect disadvantaged and at-risk children through a nationwide network of social services. Okay, UNICEF Philippines. UNICEF is an agency of United Nations devoted to serving the world's children. It aims to provide the best quality of life for every Filipino child through programs that help them survive and flourish. All right, so that's it for this lesson. So we need to know, or we need to be aware that there's a right that protect us for us to be able to live safer and to live with meaning in this world. Okay, so let's take a short quiz for this lesson. Okay, first question, civil political rights are rights that guarantee individuals access to education, basic needs, and employment. All right, is that true or false? Which does not describe human rights? First choice, they are independent and interrelated. Second, they are universal. Third, they are indivisible. And fourth, they are absolute. Okay. And third question, what should be the primary consideration of the government when they make policies and programs concerning the children? Okay, first choice, the resources needed, the funds needed for implementation, the best interest of the children, the people involved. Number four, blank serves a refuge for children who were abused, maltreated, abandoned, and neglected. Okay, all right, so let's check. Okay, so the first question is, the first statement is false since um, the economic and social rights, this is the rights that guarantee individual access to education, basic need and employment, not a civic political rights, okay? Okay, and then which does not describe human rights. They are absolute, okay? So human rights is not absolute. What should be the primary consideration of government when they make policies and programs concerning the children? Okay, the best interest of the children. So they need before they are going to make a policies. The first thing to consider is what would be the benefit of these policies to the children. Okay, all right, and then number four. Sorry, it is number three on my screen, but it's not. It is number four. This WD refers as a refuge. Okay, refuge for children who were abused, okay, maltreated and abandoned and neglected. This WD is very helpful agency or department in our country that protects our children. Okay, so that's it. And next time we will continue our discussion, and that will be the last lesson for this book. Okay, so next lesson would be implication of studying of child and adolescent growth and development for education. Okay, thank you and goodbye.